Hey everyone, it's Sue here, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So I want to thank all of my subbies. I just love you guys. It's always so wonderful to share my videos and my art with you, and hearing your really kind and sweet comments. It means a lot to me, so thank you so much. So yesterday on Periscope, I don't know if you all are familiar with Periscope, but Periscope is an app that you get on an Apple device or an Android. And so it's an app and it's live streaming. It's actually broadcasting literally around the world. As soon as you hit like this little broadcast button, it's a little nerve-wracking sometimes, but a lot of fun. And the third Saturday of every month, I'm part of an event called Pass the Brush. And so that was yesterday, which was April 23rd. And it was really a wonderful event. Had some awesome artists involved. We always do. And I shared this page. So what I did was, when you are on Periscope, what it does is it allows you to save your broadcast to your camera roll. And that's what I do. So off of my camera roll, I was able to get, what you're seeing right now. So this was really on Periscope. And I just showed you there, those shoes are cut out of, I don't know if you've ever seen like those calendars that they're 365 individual, well, probably half of that because it's front and back pages. So it like sits on a desk. It's a little square, maybe 6x6 size. And this particular calendar has shoes. And a lady I work with, she always gives me the pages at the end of the year. So I always have a ton of shoes to work with. And this little butterfly was from a calendar from the dollar store. So dollar stores are a wonderful thing. I don't go too often because I don't spend just $1. I spend several dollars. So I don't go too often. But in this case, the calendars really came in handy. Even these little flowers right here, I cut out from a calendar as well. So I'm working in my Black Dilutions journal. And I kind of messed up. So I'm going to show you like right now how I messed up. And you know what? When you're on Periscope, you are talking to people. I had probably, I don't know, about 120 or more people on the scope with me, and they can comment. So they can't talk, but obviously they can hear me talk, and I can see and read their comments. So I'm trying to do art. I'm trying to keep, answer as many comments as possible, and know and remember what the heck I'm doing, which is not an easy task for me anyway. So right there, I went right over my focal images, and I'll show you what I do with that soon. Right here, I'm just showing you all the different goodies I pulled out from my little mixed media bag. And I decided to use some punchinella with some archival ink in black. And when I do this, it shakes my tripod, so that's why the camera is moving. So sorry about that. But I really just wanted to get back into what I would call like the original or my old mixed media style. I mean, I collage all the time, but like with the punchinella and just using all of these little pieces of things to get the visual texture down. Like here I'm just showing all the different sizes of punchinella. I mean, there's a lot of different sizes. And here, the piece on the right is from an exercise mat, and on the left is, you know how like under carpets or certain things you don't want to move, you put like a plastic thing. That's what this is. So that's what I'm using right here. So think about what you have in your house, and don't be afraid to use everything. So I'm going to just lift it up, and you can see the punchinella as well as the texture that other little plastic piece gave. And I didn't use these, but I was just showing everybody, definitely put some paint on the lips of the, anything round, anything circular, a lid of any sort, and you can make great circles onto your collage page or mixed media page. And so I'm using the Pitt pen. This is the big brush Pitt pen. And I really did mess up. I don't know what I was thinking as far as putting that white gesso, that was Dina Wakley white gesso, on top of my focal images, but I did. And so here I am like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And somebody on the scope said to me, they said, well, make it a flower. And so I ended up finishing that one periscope. And then, like the lady said it right at the very, 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 very end of the scope. And I thought about it. I'm like, and look at that. Doesn't it look like a flower? It already looks like a flower. And so I was just kind of looking here. See, I have a lot of visual texture underneath, but the focal image shouldn't be covered like that. It's fine to splatter it, but you need to be able to see it, right? I mean, it can be covered a little bit, don't get me wrong, but this was too much. So I ended up pulling out my fine liners, and I do have just acrylic paint in them. And I'm going to use the black one. And I'm going to turn this into a flower. So it just went a whole different way than what I had expected. I did not plan this at all. So, as they say, this is one of those happy mistakes because I really like the way it came out, very much so. And it's funny how those shapes and the way that I use the Pitt pen to shade, it just made it look like a flower. Very cool. But I didn't see that until somebody actually mentioned it to me. And here I'm just showing that, see the two different color tops, the yellow versus the blue. The yellow top fine liner is just a tad bigger than the blue. And I prefer using the one with the bigger nozzle. So I definitely want to get some more of the fine line applicators with the yellow nozzle. I like that it comes out just a little bit more. I mean, they're both fine line because, I mean, that's what the product is, right? But so here I'm taking this neon pink, and I'm just going around, and I am putting some dots on here in pink just to, give it some interest. And I had a lot of fun doing this, and I do like the way that it's looking. Oh, and somebody was asking me here something about the Pitt pens on the Periscope. So I lifted it up to show them again. And they were saying something to the effect that they had Pitt pens, but they didn't look like that or something. I don't know. But anyway, I think that's what happened right there. So I went back to the black fine liner, and I'm going to put some detail into the flower. And I go over the lines more than once. First of all, to make them a little thicker, and second of all, just to make it so it's not so neat. I like to have it a little messy. And I think that brings some additional interest to the page. And then I pulled out my Posca paint pens in yellow and pink. Now, I did not end up using the yellow. And I had asked everybody on the scope, I'm like, I want to put two words here, or a word or a little phrase. And so everybody was putting out these words that they thought I should use on here. Because again, I didn't really plan this. I had no idea what I was going to do. And somebody said, always bloom. And I thought that that was really cool. And then once I wrote it, I'm like, well, you can read it either way as always bloom or bloom always. So I was like, well, that's kind of cool. So I knew that you couldn't see the pink really well at all. I mean, I could, up close to it, but it just needed to be darkened up. So I took this narrow Pitt pen in black, and it does have a brush tip as well, but it's much, much more narrow than the one that I use to shade the outside of that flower. So you can see it's easier to see the words now. And what I do is when I am done with all of my pages or my canvas or whatever I'm working on, I do go back and I put the date, and I also put my little initials on there. And in this case, so at the end of this, I put PTB, which is pass the brush, and the date and my initials. And around the edges, I put a little bit more of the pink, and I did the faux stitching. And here it is right here. And I don't have any photos to show you at the end because I'm going away and I packed this book and it's away. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love to have you, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye-bye.